So today should be an interesting one. I'm going to start cutting up the GT4 and I've got some new alloys and they look awesome. So you would have seen from the previous video that my front alloy, is no good. Didn't see that massive hole when I bought the car, so unfortunately I can't reuse that alloy, and GT4 alloys are actually really hard to find. And that's essentially because it's a GT3 car, but without center locking wheels. So trying to find alloys that actually fit this car has been an absolute minefield. Now I can go down the route of ordering new ones, but new alloys, £800–900 each. I can go aftermarket, but trying to find the correct offsets from alloys only leaves me with a certain price, a certain brand of wheel, which are very expensive. You're looking at probably £3 for a set. So yeah, it's been tricky, but I have found a set of alloys. Now, the fronts are okay. The rears, I'm gonna have to run spacers just because the offset it's about 10mm difference. So I'm gonna have to run 10mm spacers on the rear, but just look how good these look. They look epic, don't they? Now the fronts are actually going to sit about ½ centimetre further out than the standard alloys, which is fine, but the rears are actually 1 centimetre in. And because of that, I've kind of loosely put the wheel on, but it's hit it's solid, and it's hit the suspension strut. If you can see there, look at the top, look, just because the offset of the alloy is further out, which means the top of the rim is further in, by 1 centimetre, so I'm going to have to run 10mm spacers just to bring this wheel back out so it's back to a standard width, and then obviously clears the suspension strut. But yeah, they look epic. I'm proper happy with these. So these are Oz HLT in gloss black. I was unsure at first, so basically these are 1,800 quid and they came all with tyres as well. Now to give you an idea, I was actually looking at getting these brand new in silver with the correct offsets, but you're looking at £2,900 just for the alloy. So yeah, really happy that I managed to find these secondhand. Yeah, just need to run some spacers on the rear. So yeah, really happy with that. Let's just put alloys, 1,800 alloys. So leaving off from the last video, we are going to tackle this gearbox spline first. I do want to get the car driving, and I do want to be able to drive off the ramp if I can. So yeah, I have measured the depth of it. There's nothing stuck in it. The old one hasn't snapped off or anything like that. It is all definitely pulled out. The depths are exactly the same, so it should go all the way in, but it doesn't. So what I'm going to do now is remove the drive shaft from this side and try and get that flange out, and then just, compare. I mean, a lot of you guys in the comments as well, just compare the difference, and then we'll go from there. But it's just really not going in. Slide hammer installed. Let's see if I can get this one out. Oh, there's the bearings. Well, I mean, that don't want to come out either. There we go. Got it. So we've got it out and it is identical to the new one, so they obviously are the same part. Now looking at it now, you can see straight through the gearbox and out the other side, and it looks identical. There's definitely nothing stuck in there. It's the same both sides. So yeah, for some reason it's just obviously being a very difficult fit. Now I guess, do I try and put the other side back in and see how easily it goes in? You watch it now. I'm going to get the other side in now. I'm going to have two stuck. So I have now actually just got that other side back in. It was quite easy just to knock in, as you'd predict. Just a little knock with a hammer and it went in absolutely fine. So there's definitely an issue with this side. Really frustrating. No matter what I do, it just will not go in. And I've looked in there with a boroscope. Everything seems absolutely fine. So I have no idea what's going on or why it won't fit. The other flange is exactly the same as this one. It just doesn't fit in this side. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take off the side of the diff and just see if we can pull it out and have a... I really don't know. But I do want to get to the bottom of this before I really proceed, if I'm honest. Just because, gearbox being an issue is quite a big job, and I'd rather it not be an issue. So I am going to try and concentrate on this for the moment. So I'm going to remove the bolts of the outer casing, drain the oil, and yeah, just see if we can get it out. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Removing the diff was actually surprisingly easy. All I had to do was remove the under tray. There was 2 beam supports that went on each side as well. Drop the gearbox oil and remove the T45 from the gearbox casing, prise the casing off, and the diff literally just pulls out. And thankfully, there was enough room for it just to slip out, and I didn't have to remove anything else.
I'll just take the whole diff out. Oh, on that. There we go. Right. So I've got the differential out here, and I don't think you can see it, but yeah. I'll try and get a picture because you won't be able to see it on here, but yeah, my splines are actually damaged inside there. I can see it better now. So what it looks like to have happened is the flange. So when the car crashed, the flange, I reckon, got ripped out, but not all the way. And maybe the wheel kept spinning, and it's just basically worn away the last little bit of the flange, and that is why I can't get it to locate, because it's damaged. It doesn't look like it's only damaged like the last 10%, but it's that 10% that I need to get the splines located in, that's what I cannot do. So I'm faced with the problem here of potentially replacing the diff. I don't know if it's a part that can be replaced. I don't know. At this point, as you can see, I'm going to just strip this down. I don't know anything about gearboxes, so please ignore everything I do. I've never actually done anything to do with gearboxes, so I'm just going to start undoing bolts and see what happens.
Now, I had no idea what I was doing here, so I was just a case of removing all bolts that I could see, and hopefully something would present itself that meant I could strip it down further. And yeah, that's exactly what happened.
There we go. Just after removing this crown gear here, or the main gear here, there was 2 little Allen key bolts, and this top bit come off, and now you can see the extent of the damage to the threadlet. So as I say, it's like the last 10% of the whole thread that's damaged, and that was what was stopping me from being able to insert that flange. Now, I don't know how to get this out, so bear with. Also, I don't want to get this wrong either. Don't want to get things in the wrong order. I don't know if this even comes out, does it? Oh, it might do. Aha! Yes! There we go, look. Right. Oh my god, right, this is the part where I really don't want to get it wrong. I wonder if I can just repair that, you know? Because as I say, it's the last 10%, so if I can get the flange in from this side and create the grooves again, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so I have no idea whether this is going to work or not, but basically I've just got my gear cog here, and I've just flipped it over, and I've hammered it basically onto my drive shaft flange to kind of push out the damage. So basically do it on the reverse side. So now I need to try and just pull this off and see if that's worked or not. Right, so I've managed to get it on the right way round, and this is taking me about 2.5 hours to get to this stage. So let me just take it back off and I'll show you what I've done. So here is our little spur gear, and if you have a look down there, look, you can see all the splines are now perfectly clean. All the grooves, look, there's no longer any debris or metal in any of the grooves. It literally looks like new now, apart from the fact that I know it's slightly less surface area on the last 10%, but let's be honest, it's not really going to affect it, I don't think. And there's still actually grooves there, even where I've chiseled out the rubbish, there's still grooves there, look. It's just very slightly shallowed out a little bit, but yeah, 2.5 hours. And that is because I slotted it in the vise here, used this tiny little screwdriver, and was basically just hammering the grooves to get all the metal burr out, and yeah, 2.5 hours. But it worked! put my circlip back on, and then wish me luck. We're going in. Moment of truth. You are gonna bloody go in, you absolute beauty. Come on. Ah, beautiful. Whoa. Oh, I'm absolutely right. Okay, I'm not gonna get too carried away because I've still got the other side to do. That hasn't been problematic so far, but knowing my luck, that's now gonna be problematic. But let's get that in and then we'll rejoice. Yes, I'm fully aware that you can't see anything. I can barely see anything, but you'll know if it goes wrong. Can't really get in here with. We're in. We are in. Absolutely. Get in. Come on. Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing that that worked. Now, I was getting quite concerned about that issue because before I took the diff out, I was thinking, oh no, how is this going to be resolved? But anyway, took the plate off, got the diff out. I don't know anything about gearboxes and diffs, so I did phone a few people and asked, like, ballpark, is it repairable? I'll send you some pictures. One person just didn't want to know. Second person went, yeah, you can't get parts for the diff on the Cayman GT4. You have to buy a whole new gearbox. You can't even buy the diff separately. So if you'd have taken that into Porsche with that problem, they would have said, no, you need a new gearbox. And the gearbox was
£9,106.42 with the surcharge involved.
Is that plus or including VAT?
Including.
Including VAT. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. £9,100 plus fitting, which was another 1,500 quid. So you owe over £10,000 to fix something I fixed for free. Absolutely mental. So I'm now going to put the rear end back together. So we're now done with this offside corner. So I'm going to put that drive shaft back in, do it all properly back up, and get this corner back to normal. Right, so I've managed to get the broken drive shaft in. I ended up removing 4 of the 6 balls in the joint, just so I could get it so it moves, so I could then obviously get the car on the floor and drive it out. However, I'm not happy with it. Like, it will turn and then it will just notch up, like there. Look, it's notching up, and it kind of forces the. And I just don't want to ruin the gearbox. It's not worth it. So unfortunately, I ain't gonna be using that. So I'm not gonna be able to get the car out because I don't have a nut on the end either, which I didn't realise. I thought I had a nut in with the drive shaft, but I don't. So I can't even get the car on the floor and pushed out. So for now, I am just going to try and hook the dozer up, and if I can get enough room here, try and pull some of these panels out. Now, I managed to do it without taking the side skirts off, even though I'm definitely going to have to take this all off anyway. But this is what we've got here. We've got our 2 clamps, one on each side, and it just clamps the sill here. So I've just removed the under trays here, but as you can see, the side skirt is fairly flexible, so I just pushed it up a little bit and clamped it on. So I've done the same on the other side, clamped it on, and the idea is now, and those holes there act as a counter hold, so the bar goes through the middle, and when I'm pushing on against the bar, it just stops the car from pulling backwards. So when we're trying to pull the panels out, it holds the car in place, basically. I've only used it a handful of times and it's not been very good. It doesn't hold onto the chassis rails very well. That's how I found it, because there's only one point of contact each side whereas on a proper jig, you'd have one on each corner. But we'll give it a go. Hopefully that these are quite thin, so they shouldn't take much force to pull out. So yeah, let's just lower it back on the ground and get it all set up. Well, I just went straight ahead and set it all up. Didn't do it on camera because it was taking too long. But I'll just show you the setup quickly. This is a dozer. So we know we've got the bar going across the middle. You saw our supports we put on to hold it to the chassis. That is our beam there that pushes up against that as our counter hold to stop the car from being pulled as well. And then we've got our long beam here with our arm, and that we can wrap around the chain, put it under there, and the idea is then you use the jack here, or the press, sorry, to then press this out, and it pulls this arm back, and then it should pull out your damage. Now, I've just started pumping So let's see what happens. I haven't had good experience with this thing, but let's give it another go. And that is the problem with the dozer. It just lets go of the grip at the back. And that's the problem I've always had with it. Right, I'm gonna have another go. I've used this long bar here to counter hold that against the machine now. So hopefully that shouldn't then slide, which means we should now be able to pull it a bit better.
Now to prep for removing the rear quarter of the car, I need to remove the side window, and I just thought I'd have a look to see how easy it came out. And it came out surprisingly easy. There was just 2 bolts and a couple of clips. And also we needed to remove the rear windscreen with rear boot lid as well, which again was just 2 bolts, which was under the headlining, and the whole thing just popped off. So yeah, they went pretty well.
So removing that side window wasn't actually too bad. It was just held on with 2 bolts, believe it or not, here and here, and then a couple of clips and a little bit of bond at the top there. But yeah, not too bad. Now we're gonna, I'm gonna leave the this bit for the moment, and I'm gonna concentrate. I've just pulled away some of the side skirt as well. I'm gonna concentrate on just removing some of the rear sections. So like this back panel, I'm gonna remove the crash bar. It's the only thing I couldn't straighten, the crash bar. You can see where I've pulled the other bits out, and it's just pulled it away from itself. But the box section is fairly intact. Obviously, this corner bit would be normally like here. So I'm going to remove as much as I can here. It's just going to be a lot of drilling now, and that is going to be, yeah, the fun part. Hours and hours of drilling and a few bolts. So yeah, just going a bit of an overview. I've pulled out as much of this as I can, and it's pretty much, obviously it's not straight, but it's pretty much where it would normally sit, albeit very creased. The only thing I couldn't get round was just the inside bit here. Look, it's still squashed there, and I couldn't pull it out, but we will be replacing that anyway. So the next stage, yeah, is just loads of drilling. I've undone my bolts. I'm all prepped, ready to start drilling. And then, yeah, we're going to start then cutting out this rear quarter. But that will be in the next video. Sorry, I know I said at the beginning of the video that we will be cutting out panels, but with this gearbox issue, that was my priority for today, and it just took a lot longer than I thought to rectify. I did quite a lot of stuff off camera in this one, so it might not seem like a lot's been done, but it took like 4 days to do all that you've just seen. But obviously the gearbox is good. Happy with that. And in the next video, 100% we will be cutting panels, and also 100% we will be driving it out of the workshop, because I bought that drive shaft, so it should be in Monday. Get some gearbox oil as well, so we had to drive out of the workshop, turn it around and get it back in. So yeah, the fun will continue, but I thought I'm trying to be realistic as well. I don't want to just like do all this stuff and then pretend like it wasn't difficult when some things just take a long time. Just the way it is. But the good news is obviously it's fixed now. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.